Members of Congress used to be embarrassed when they could not perform their basic job of passing spending bills and instead had to finance the government with a series of short-term resolutions. But such patchwork has now become commonplace, and it is a sign of Washington's profound dysfunction that the short-term agreement reached on Tuesday came as a relief to both sides. House and Senate leaders settled on a deal to keep the government running through March, preventing it from shutting down when the fiscal year ends on September 30th. With Congress polarized and paralyzed by the coming election, no regular appropriations bills have been enacted and none will be before the deadline. The prospect of a shutdown was a real one because House Republicans broke an agreement that they had reached with the Senate last year on the size of the federal budget for the 2011 fiscal year in submitting the debt ceiling to make one of its periodic points about excessive spending. The House recklessly chopped $20 billion off that amount in March, much of which would have come out of Head Start, Pell Grants, and state aid. At the time, many House conservatives said that they relished confrontation with the Senate, hoping the threat of a shutdown would give them the cuts they wanted. After all, it worked the year before when Republicans cynically used the deadline to write nearly $40 billion in cuts from the 2012 budget. The withdrawal of that much spending helped neutralize the stimulative effect of previous years and the prevailing oil tax cut, keeping the economy stagnant. The difference this year is the November election. Wiser Republican leaders knew that a shutdown crisis in September would have a bad taste with voters, many of whom correctly tend to blame these kinds of things on their party. So the lawmakers agreed on a continuing resolution that will keep the spending limit at $1.47 trillion, for lower than it should be when the economy needs a boost, but at least it's not making rulings worse. The White House signed on, and the resolution is supposed to be passed after the August recess. Both parties are hoping the outcome of the election will give them an advantage when the easement or agreement has to be renegotiated next year, but stalemate is still the most likely outcome as long as voters keep electing Republican lawmakers who are unwilling to compromise on spending and taxes. Representative Stephen LaTourette of Ohio, one of the few moderate Republicans left in the House, made that clear on Tuesday when he said he couldn't take it anymore and would not seek re-election after 9 terms. There are people on the right and the left who want that if you compromise, you're a coward, you're a facilitator, you're an appeaser, he said, adding that people are more interested in fighting with each other than they are in getting the no-brainers done and guessing.
A little fast, but is it okay?
No drops?